Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona. The big one is out. evening, race fans, and welcome back to the League Zero Racing Series, the premier Formula 3 iRacing League. Today, we're at the virtual Red Bull Ring, and it's going to be quite the show for everybody here tonight. Good to be back in the booth calling the action for my favorite open wheel series. Let's take a quick look at tonight's grid. Starting on pole, Josh Green, the number 22 machine. Terry Crouch, a newcomer, and the number 59 will be starting second. Flo Doms in the 13 starts third. Brad Tritt, the number 26, starts fourth. Nick Peterson, the number 24, starting fifth. Varun Patel in the 99 machine starting sixth. Connor Scribner in the number 18 starting seventh. John, the Propane Man Kasai, starting eighth in the number 3 machine. Peter Renger, the number 44, starting 9th. Raymond Aguilar in the 83, starting 10th. Kevin Burrows in the number 80, starting 11th. Ryan Thibault starting 12th here today. Not necessarily the grid he wanted, but still having a good job coming out strong. Then we cycle back. You got Hunter Graves in 37 starting 13th. Dustin Oberlo starting 14th. Chase Small will be starting 15th. Michael Fairchild 16th on the grid. Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Australian, starting 17th. Matt Foster starting 18th. Xavier Zenave starting 19th. Felipe Garcia starts 20th on the grid. Andrew Neri starting 21st. John Lynch starts 22nd. Norman King will start 23rd. Anthony Asianati starting 24th here today. And we'll cycle it back just one more time to Danilo Sparapani starting 25th. Rohit Rout starting 26th. And Antonio Bianchi starting 27th. Let's get ready to go racing and see what's going to happen here in the opening round of League Zero. The Formula Series is about to begin, ladies and gentlemen. 28 laps in this feature event. Then we'll have a very brief intermission, followed by our absolutely action-packed 15-minute sprint race, which I've got to say, one of my favorite races to call because it's the top 10 reverse grid, and anything can happen as we get ready for the lights to turn on here at Red Bull Ring. Here we go. And away they go for the first time this season. It's Josh Green, Terry Crouch out front together. Green swipes across the bow of Crouch in that number 59 machine. And this is where things will get all sorts of exciting about mid-pack making their way into turn one. So far, so good. As the field going 2, 3, 4 wide through that section of raceway, but everybody getting through nice and clean. As we pan the camera back up front, it's Green, Crouch, Doms, and a nice tight pack in the top 3. And no, Josh Green has spun up front. He will go towards the back. And I'm thinking there's going to be some carnage here. Oh, this has got to bring out. Surely the caution flag will come out. The safety car needs to come out, as we've lost a major portion of the field here. Let's take a look and see what happened to Green. Your race leader looks like he just looped it all on his lonesome. Just a little bit too much curbing on that front left tire is enough to send him around. And then the field's gonna stack up here behind him. Everybody trying to find a dance partner and get through nice and clean, but did not expect a parking lot here at Red Bull Ring, but sure enough, we got one early on. Terry Crouch will be leading this race. We did not roll the safety car, as it looks like most drivers were able to get through that incident with varying amounts of damage. Crouch puts down the opening lap, a 1:30.81. He's got about a 1 second lead over Flo Doms' number 13 machine, but there goes Doms out to no man's land. And now Doms will find himself behind Brad Tritt. It looks like Nick Peterson looking for a way through as well. Boy, oh boy, what a wild season opener for the League Zero competitors. As now we're watching the 3-car battle for second. And that looks like that was Terry Crouch. Crouch has a problem on his own. There's got to be something in the water out here today, ladies and gentlemen, as we've seen both race leaders have all sorts of terrible luck. We're going to take a look back and see what happened to Crouch in that number 59 machine. Looked like almost the exact same thing that happened to Green. Yes, it was. Just sends it sliding around. Thankfully, the field gets through relatively unscathed. So now it'll be Brad Tritt running out front. Flo Dom second, Nick Peterson third. Now, I don't know what the cause for the incidents is so far here today. I'm not sure if it's maybe pre-season jitters, guys getting out here for the first time and trying to maybe push it harder than they need to in the opening laps of this 28-lap feature event. Maybe shaking off the cobwebs at 140 miles an hour. But I think soon, yes, Trenton will have lap traffic to contend with. I think that'll be Ryan Thibault in the number 27 machine. As now Doms and Peterson take over first and second. Trenton cycles back to third in his number 26 machine. So let's see, try and get everybody an update. Josh Green, your pole setter, he's now running 8th on the circuit. Terry Crouch, who was another leader that spun, he's 4th on track. So there's going to be two very fast cars, very fast drivers are going to have to slice their way up through the field. But granted, this is a 28-lap feature with a 45-minute maximum time allocated for this race. So still plenty of time to make up ground, and you can also win it or lose it on pit strategy. We've got Fairchild, Neri, and Renger all in pit road early on. Not sure if they're going to be able to get back out on circuit or if they are done. You also got Ryan Thibault in that number 27 machine. He came back down pit road. So now Flo Doms leading the charge with Peterson and Trenton in tow. About 3.4 seconds back from this battle for the lead is going to be Terry Crouch, who has put down the fastest lap of the race so far, a 126.5, about 0.2 faster than the lead pack. So it'll be interesting to see what type of ground Crouch can make up here as the run progresses. Trenton falling back slightly, now about 1 second back from Peterson. Peterson remaining within a half second of Doms. Maybe just using the draft off of that number 13 Canadian machine out front to save a little bit of fuel and maybe see what the lines Doms is taking, excuse me, to try and maybe pick something up and find some more speed as the run progresses. Dom's fastest lap was a 126.69, Peterson with a 26.8. So about 1/10 between the two as far as raw pace goes. Now we'll see if Peterson can stay in the draft. As in the background, you saw Terry Crouch getting a little bit closer. Let's cycle a little bit further back in the field, back to Josh Green. He's trying to make his way around the world-famous Australian McAllister. McAllister having a great race so far. He's up 10 positions from where he originally started. The young Australian driver has been getting faster and, more importantly, more consistent every time he finds himself out on a circuit. And now he will go side by side with the pole setter of Green. Green takes over 7th place. And I'm assuming he's going to huck it into turn 1 here to try and catch up to Chase Small, who runs about a second ahead in 5th place. Peterson doing a good job reeling Doms back down to about a half second. Trenton running about 1.7 seconds back from these guys. As again, there's Crouch in the top right corner of your screen, just getting a little bit closer. Crouch, again, that newcomer, the 59 machine, was the fastest driver in open practice leading up to tonight's main event. Good to see, first of all, so many people coming out for a season debut that, from my understanding, the league admins didn't really feel like they needed to advertise for, but as a league owner myself, you always kind of guess yourself there at the end if you need to be recruiting a little bit more, but happy to see over 26 drivers making their way out tonight for the season opener. Quite a healthy grid. If you're looking to get on the action, check them out, leaguezero.net. You too can get out here and race on a Thursday night for the low cost of free $99. Free to join, a lot of fun to come out here and race these open wheel machines. Dom's finding some more pace, clicking off his fastest lap of the race, a 125.95. Almost getting the fastest lap of the race there. He still has Crouch with a 125.93, but 2/100ths of a second off the fastest lap of the race. Not a bad day when you're running out front. Other battles we have on track. This is the three-way battle for 10th, a very important position currently held by John Lynch. But here comes Sparapani up the inside line. Almost a little bit of contact between the two drivers. And look at that. Here comes, I believe that's going to be Matt Foster trying to find a way through the hole here. You've also got Felipe Garcia, Anthony Asianati trying to join the fray. Now the top 10 spots so extremely crucial here in this series, as the sprint race is a top 10 inverted grid. So if you're in the spot of Sparapani right now, running 10th on the circuit, and you can finish here, that means you will start at the very tippy top of the racetrack for the sprint race. And with that being a 10-lap sprint, track position is absolutely crucial. You do not want to find yourself having to slice and dice through traffic, because that's just more opportunities for you to go home with a wadded up race car. Your race leader, Doms, clicks off the fastest lap of the race, a 1:25.79. But no, Josh Green is going to answer in the number 22 machine. He drops a 1:25.75. 7 laps in, the guys just keep getting faster and faster. Green currently running 6th on track. He's right behind John Propane Kasai in that number 3 machine. Kasai's up 3 spots from where he started, and having a fantastic run on his own account. Green looks at the inside line of Kasai. Looks like he's going to get through. Kasai yields the spot. Just willing to live to fight another day. As we pan back to 13th, Felipe Garcia. He's battling Matt Foster's number 32 machine. Felipe in the number 19 machine on the high line. He's also going to get overtaken by Anthony Asianati, but the current fastest Brazilian on track, Garcia, having a great race here, is now he's behind, or no, got back ahead of Rohit Raut, the number 10 machine. Massive fields and great racing across the track. Looks like everybody got back out on track except for Peter Renger and Ryan Thibault. Fairchild and Neri got back out on track after about a minute and 20 seconds in their pit stall. And uh-oh, Doms has problems in that number 13 machine. I'd be astounded if it's the same spot. Surely not. As we take a quick look at the replay here. Wow, turn 1 just eating people up here today, and that also is going to collect Nick Peterson, allowing Tritton to take over the lead. Crouch moves back up to 2nd, now 1.3 back from your race leader, and Nick Peterson will hold on to, looks like, 3rd here today. But man, turn 1 at Red Bull Ring just eating them alive. But we made it 8 laps in, 28 laps left to go. Excuse me, 20 laps left to go. Now 19 as Tritton crosses the line. What a way to open up the season here. Green clicks off another fastest lap of the race, a 1:25.51 after his early misfortune. Now this is the sweet spot for the drivers. When they start getting a little bit lower on fuel, the cars get a little bit lighter. And then more importantly, the tire wear really hasn't set in too badly yet. So at this point in the stage, the next 2-3 laps, this is where you're going to see the fastest laps of the race come into play, as these drivers will double stint their tires for this feature event. Crouch getting very close here to Tritton. trying to take over that race lead once more. Well, let's see. Here comes Trenton trying to make some moves and fend off against Crouch. Now, neither driver wants to find themselves tied up with any incidents here. Last thing they want to do is throw away a race. As Crouch looks up at the inside line. As it looks like Trenton will play it smart and allow Crouch to get through. Both drivers thankfully get through that section nice and clean after so much carnage we've seen early on. And now it'll be Crouch back out front, but right behind this pair of Crouch and Trenton, here comes Josh Green, who's been putting down blistering fast lap times. He's about 2.5 seconds back and finding time extremely quickly as we go on board with Green in that number 22 machine. Let's see what the Real Life Pro can do to try and reel in Crouch and Trenton. Now, in theory, Trenton and Crouch could work together, run single file, and try and put a bit of a gap on Green. As, ooh, interesting, Peterson's going to be one of the first drivers down pit road for a green flag stop. The number 24 machine coming in on lap 11. I think what's happening right now is Crouch and Trenton may be slowing each other down racing. As that time by, Green was about a second and a half faster than the top two drivers. Oh, this is about to be extremely exciting. It's about to be a three-car battle for the lead. Green now within 1.8 seconds of Trenton running second, that number 26 machine. But this could also be great for Crouch, as now he's got clean track ahead of him until he starts running into lap traffic, which I think may be for a little bit while longer here. The fuel window will officially open at lap 14 for these drivers. Always interesting to see who opts to stay out the longest and try and get off strategy with the rest of the field and value that clean track position more than anything. But we've got more problems going on towards the back. Andrew Neri shows involved in an incident. And it looks like that machine may be crab walking around here. Now, Neri was involved in an early incident as well, so this could be the damage starting to fight him once more. Odd, maybe he just triggered as a crash since he slowed down to let the lead guys go by, the lead lap guys. As now we focus on Trenton, who's about to really have to hold on to it here. As we're watching the three-way battle for the lead. Trenton doing his best to fend off against Green. Green just trying to get through. He does not want Crouch to get away from him. As Trenton and Green are linked up nose to tail, Crouch has extended his gap to about 2 seconds here. And there goes Green making his way around Trenton. So now it's going to be interesting to see, can Crouch fend off? He's got about a 2.5 second advantage. Green finding some more time. Let's take a look at the lap time and see what it shows. He clicked off a 1:25.46, about 0.3 faster than Crouch did that last time by. And let us know if you're tuning in here tonight, where in the world you're from and who you're cheering for. As a lot of these racers will either be watching the production live, listening to it on a second or third monitor, or almost always watching it back afterwards. As again, we're watching Green is inching closer and closer here, gaining about 3 or 4 tenths that last time by. We check back in with your race leader, Terry Crouch. That number 59 machine had a bit of misfortune with so many other drivers in the opening laps, but coming back out strong. Still holding on to a lead from Josh Green, which is kind of an accomplishment of itself. Green was one of the dominant drivers last season. Good to see some of the young blood coming out here tonight and challenging the USF 2000 driver of Josh Green. Oh, we've got something going on with Hunter Graves. He finds himself pointing the wrong direction as the field whips their way around. Let's see what happened to Graves there. Was there contact or was it self-inflicted? I almost wondered if he had the air taken off that back spoiler with traffic so nice and tight, but great job waiting for the field to make their way around before flicking that number 37 machine back in the right direction. We're going to check in with Nick Peterson. He's running 14th right behind Felipe Garcia and Matt Foster. And he's got Norman King behind him as well on the number 28 machine. We've got Ricky Esmanino. He's cheering on Roberlo and Foster here today. Roberlo will be another driver coming in that number 42 machine, as the fuel window has been open for 2 laps now. Now let's see, is Crouch going to stay out as long as he can, as he will have more and more traffic to contend with as the cycles start to break down? Or is Green going to be one of the first one to come in and opting for clean track? That is Raymond Aguilar just ahead of your race leader. He had to come in on lap 9 for some repairs to get that number 83 machine hammered back, pointing in the right direction, but still out there trying to just keep things pointed in a forward direction, try and salvage a rough opening round, and think of the championship on the line for these drivers. Graves also coming down pit road. And that's not good. That's Connor Scribner and Dustin Orberlo, who may have gotten tied up with each other. I wonder if this is the same incident we've seen. And that tricky right-hander that's just chewed up some good race cars here today. Oh man, and poor Orberlo just nowhere to go on that one. Crouch, still your race leader, still with a 1.9 second advantage over Josh Green. Foster comes down pit road as Graves leaves his pit stall. We've got Brienne, she's cheering on Foster and Oberlo as well. Foster currently in pit road running 14th, now 15th as Oberlo moves up to 14th. Good to see the two friends running so close together out here today. Each driver searching for a personal best. Now Green running second, slowly making up time on Crouch, but not massive amounts here. Bench factors cheering on Terry Crouch, the newcomer, your race leader, that number 59 machine. Not sure where Crouch came from, but he's coming with a fast background. As to be running up front in such a stacked field is a major accomplishment. He's using the draft of Raymond Aguilar to try and squeeze those lap times down just a little bit further, as he know Green behind him gained about 2/10 on that last lap. Now your top three, Crouch, Green, and Trenton, both have yet to pit. John Kasai runs fourth, and oh no, that's not the right direction. That is race leader Terry Crouch. I don't know what it is for the race leaders today, but they're getting chewed up and spit out. The exact same spot, almost identical to what happened earlier. Too much curbing, and then around she goes. Keeps it off the wall, thankfully. And now Josh Green will be, I don't want to say handed the lead since he was gaining up so much time, but that's definitely going to help him out a bit. Now Brad Trenton will move up to second. I would expect Crouch to come in pretty soon. Give those tires a chance to cool off and maybe cool off himself. As now he was in third, Josh Green, he will come down and initiate his green flag stop on lap 18, the race leader. Diving down pit lane. Let's see what Trenton and Crouch do here. Trenton stays out to get a lap led. Crouch will do the same as John Kasai moves up to third after Green and Small are dive down pit road. Green starting to make his way out here. Gareth McAllister, the Australian, he moves up to fifth. Danilo Sparapani, now our current fastest Brazilian on track. He's running sixth, up 19 positions. Having a spectacular run. Trenton enjoying his time in the limelight. Kevin Burrows, the number 80 machine, he completes his pit cycle and rolls out. Only spending about 5.5 seconds, about the average we're seeing for pit stops. Just enough for these drivers to fuel it up till the end, have their crew give it a quick look over, but no tire changing to be had in this feature event. Double stinting the tires to save massive amounts of time on pit road. Now what I'm concerned about is how much Crouch may have cooked those tires in those two spins that he's had, at least on camera the spins we noticed. Crouch comes in on lap 19, as well as John Kasai. Tritton stays out once more. He's going to try and run that number 26 machine as dry as he safely can so he can put in just enough fuel at the last pit stop. And that way he may also have a lighter car to make it to the end. Josh Green moves up to second. Gareth McAllister moves to third. McAllister up 14 spots here in that number 25 machine. We've got Liliana. She's also cheering on Matt Foster. Foster running 17th, up one spot from where he started, which should be able to gain a couple more as we've got about 5-6 drivers that have yet to pit here today. And that includes your first and third place runners, Brad Tritton and Gareth McAllister. We're gonna run them all the way out here at Red Bull Ring. Now Tritton, your race leader, he's come down pit road in that number 26. That's going to give Green the lead, I would think, by about a 10 to 15 second margin. A total pit lane time from the entry cones, the exit cones, has been about 35, 36 seconds for these drivers. McAllister will also come in, and here comes Green down the start-finish line stretch. Your new race leader. Let's see how far out Tritton is once he makes his way out of pit road. So now it's Green, Tritton, and Crouch, your top three. All three should have enough fuel to run it out till the end. And who was that? I think that was Connor Scribner, followed by Anthony Asenati. Oh, a very close rejoin. That one section's just been chilling. We need to mount a camera crew right there all weekend and just have them roll till they're not having fun anymore. That corner has been action-packed for the duration of this 45-minute feature event. I can't wait to see what the sprint race is going to do. That's where you're going to have the top 10 drivers inverted for a 15-minute shootout. So now Green out front and in charge. He's got a 9-second advantage over Brad Tritton. When we go further back in the field, you got Felipe Garcia. He's batting with Xavier Zanave for the 12th place spot. You've also got Norman King poking his head in the picture in that number 28 machine. And what's about to be a 3-car battle for 12th. I think that might be Ryan Tebow in number 27 machine joining us in the spectator area after he's had an early out. We'll get some confirmation from that in a second. As Xavier Zanave's found about a second of breathing room away from Felipe Garcia. Norman King still about a second back from this pack as well. And look at that, Josh Green clicks off the fastest lap of the race once more, a 125.35. Oh, more carnage here. It looks like it's going to be Flo Doms. spinning it around and getting it pointed right back in the right direction. 44, that is Peter Renger joining us. Unfortunately, hate to see it for Peter, always a great guy to talk to, even more fun to race against. Renger found himself in one of those early incidents that collected a whole lot of drivers and just nowhere to go when the whole racing tarmac is a parking lot. As now we're watching Norman King trying to reel in Felipe Garcia. He's got Lynch and Foster running 14th and 15th right behind him. Also trying to make some ground here. We've got Alex Penn, Road Racing Phenomenon. He's cheering on Gareth McAllister. McAllister running inside the top 10 comfortably, 7th on the track, up 10 spots from where he started in the Aussie-backed number 25 machine. Good to see so many drivers really coming into their own out here, getting faster as the seasons progress. And again, in McAllister's case, getting more consistent as the shows go on. Chase Small about to have company from Nick Peterson in the battle for 5th. Small up 10 positions. Peterson down 1 from where he started. But again, so many great drivers involved in incidents out here today. And just trying to make their way through and salvage an opening around. As a lot of these drivers, despite it just being round 1, they've got points in the back of their head knowing it's a long championship. And you've got to keep that momentum going forward no matter the cost. Looks like we got something going on here with Hunter Graves, Matt Foster trading back and forth spots. Renger cheering on his good friend Norman King. Ooh, Graves going for a little bit of a high-low move there with Foster. Foster's going to try and answer back in the battle for 15. Three laps left to go. It's still Green, Trenton, Crouch, your top 3. After an absolute wild opening feature event, I can't wait to see what the sprint race is going to do. As let's go back up front, Peterson and Small still battling hard for 5th. Let's take a look and see what the pass for 5th was about as they go side by side down the start-finish line into turn 1. Well, let's go back as Small's trying to still hold on to it here. Small and Peterson still battling for that 5th place spot. Up front, Trenton getting a little bit closer. No, it's going to be, I believe, Crouch getting closer to Trenton here. Now within less of a second between those two. As Peterson and Small are just absolutely battling hard here for 5th. Great racing from 1st to 20th. Doesn't matter where you're at. There's usually somebody about the same pace, and a lot of fun racing these open wheel Formula 3 machines alongside competitors you can trust to get you to the end. Peterson trying to fend off Small as long as he can, but let's go back up front to the battle for 2nd. As there is Brad Trenton and Terry Crouch. They're about 13 seconds back from your race leader, Josh Green. So Crouch knows a win's probably out of the cards here, but a 2nd is possible. As they go side by side, both competitors checking up heavily to avoid getting into each other. Because as much as Crouch and Trenton want to battle for that 2nd place spot, they would rather finish 2nd or 3rd or vice versa rather than finishing at the back of the pack with a wounded machine. As they are still side by side here. Crouch making the outside line, making it happen, getting very close to the grass. but he will take over the second place spot from Trenton. Let's see if Trenton can answer. With just a couple laps left in this opening season opener feature event. And yet again, Green, your race leader, clicking off record-setting times on 125.17 here today. Showing Hunter Graves involved in an incident, number 37 machine. I'm assuming he's going to take a tow back here. Was that self-inflicted, or did he get a little bit of help? He got a little bit of help. That was number 90 of John Lynch, giving him a love tap from behind as the rest of the field scatters here. And no, is that Terry Crouch off track? That's going to give Trenton another chance here in the closing laps to try and crawl his way back into second, fighting tooth and nail for it. Crouch and Trenton have been going at it. Unfortunately, that slowed down their pace significantly, running about a second slower than Green per lap. And the white flag will fly for your race leader, Josh Green. But right now, we are focused on the battle for second of Crouch and Trenton. Kasai running fourth. He's about 6 seconds back. You've got Nick Peterson rounding out the top 5. Now Green and Crouch are both currently sitting where they qualified. Trenton up 1 spot from where he started after all 3 of these drivers involved in a little bit of carnage, a little bit of heartbreak early on in this race. But all 3 of these drivers pretty much on the same strategy as far as pits goes. Green came in on lap 18, Crouch 19, and Trenton came in on lap 20. And still, Crouch and Trenton are nose to tail here in the final lap. As it looks like clean track ahead of them here. Josh Green will take over the race lead. Excuse me, not take over the race lead. He will win the feature event here by a comfortable 15-second gap. And then it looks like it's going to be Crouch and Trenton. And a wild opening round. Great racing from all of these guys. So it's going to be Green, Crouch, Trenton, your top 3 drivers. What a fantastic race. We're going to try and get the top 3 up here into victory lane. And they can tell me how fantastic their night has been. So we will wait for these 3 drivers to make their way up into victory lane. Great racing, though, across the board from these guys. All right, starting up first, we got Brad Tree, number 26 machine, bringing home a third. Brad, I mean, it's a season opener. We know things always get exciting. Did you think it was going to be that exciting in the top three in these opening moments?
It was good. I just played it very conservatively, let everybody kind of get that first race jitters out with somebody else that wasn't me, and just tried to stay consistent. And the race pace wasn't quite there like it was at the end of the last season, but that'll come. And overall, a good finish.
Now, Brad, we saw it kind of looked like the leader's curse here today, where if you took over the lead, it was almost guaranteed the next few laps you're going to send that machine careening around. What do you think was causing the spinning issues that we were seeing out on track? From what I heard, the setups were pretty good. Is it just guys getting out there and pushing hard at the beginning, or what do you think caused it?
I think everybody wants to be Max Verstappen,
If
and some people run out of talent.
Well, very well said. Now, do you have any plans going into the sprint race on just kind of how to survive since you'll be starting seventh in what's guaranteed to be a massively wild start?
Survive. One of my strengths is surviving, so we'll do our best to do that.
Well, Brad, always a good time talking. It's been way too long in the off season. Good to have you back. Before I let you sign off and get ready for the sprint race, who would I give a shout out to or pay thanks to that's helping you out this season?
I like to give a shout out to my dad. He got me into motorsport and stuff, so I think he deserves his credit and me having some talent.
Well, Brad, congratulations on the third, man. Good luck out there in the sprint race, and always a great time talking to you.
Thanks.
That was Brad Tritton bringing it home in the third place spot. Up next, we've got Terry Crouch, a newcomer to the League Zero Formula 3 Series. Terry, you got a copy?
I do. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Terry. Terry, you kind of came out of nowhere. You ran up front, and it seemed like the leader's curse just kept biting everybody here today.
Yeah, I mean, the track is really slippery. And when you got somebody like Josh coming up behind you and you see it, you got to push, and mistakes happen. I was just a yo-yo back and forth through the field.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, most of you guys in the top five were able to salvage what could have been a disastrous start to the season. Now, Terry, you're a newcomer here. What attracts you to the League Zero series as well as the Formula 3 cars by themselves? Is that something you've been comfortable running in the past, trying something new? What's the background out of the number 59 machine?
I'm a GT driver. My teammate, Flo Doms, invited me to the league, wanted me to try the F3 car. And it's a blast. It's just completely backwards from what I'm used to. So I'm sure more mistakes will happen. Hopefully it's only me and not collecting somebody else.
Now, Terry, I'm sure you're aware, but I'm going to remind you. So this sprint race is an inverted top 10. We saw how exciting things were the opening laps in the feature event where we kind of had the faster guys up front. Do you have a different strategy to survive the opening laps but still keep pushing forward with this inverted top 10?
Hopefully keep it pointed the right direction and avoid what will undoubtedly happen because it's going to be slick out there and it's going to be a mess. So you just try and not get collected.
Well, Terry, well said. Welcome to our large dysfunctional family. Good to have you up here in Victory Lane for hopefully what is many times to come this season. Before I let you get ready for the sprint race, who would I give a shout out to and say thanks that's helping you out this year?
My wife, my kids, my grandkids, all my teammates at TLDR, and my boys at the Sim Pit. Thanks, guys.
Well said. Terry, congratulations again on second and hope to see you continue with that success, my friend.
Appreciate you.
And that was Terry Crouch, the number 59 machine, bringing home second. Up next, but certainly not last or least, we've got Josh Green, number 22 machine, coming out strong. It looked like the leader's curse kind of got everybody, but able to collect it there at the end, my friend.
Yeah, definitely not the ideal start, to say the least. This car's deadly on cold tires, and I knew that, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be super conservative, and I was conservative into one, and I thought I was being conservative into the hairpin, but apparently not enough.
Now, that hairpin, it collected countless drivers. We were saying we should set up a camera crew there all weekend, just watch the carnage. But it seemed like even mid to late in the race, we were still seeing guys lose the back end and send it sliding around. Is that track? Is that cold tires? What was causing the difficulty for everybody from first to 25th in that one section?
No, it's definitely circuit. The circuit has a really weird way, is it like the curb goes up a hill, and it's a very, very quick ascent. So when you get back to power, one of the wheels is always off the ground, and it slams down. It just causes both the diff to lock and both wheels spin. So you get a really weird sensation on power, where you get that one really quick snap of oversteer, and you can't really do anything about it.
Now, we saw a couple of high-low moves through there with different passes throughout the race. Is there a preferred line to try and set something like that up, or is it upsetting the car no matter what you do?
I tend to do a different thing than everyone else. Everyone tries to avoid the curb. I kind of just dive at it, get off the brakes early, and just try and slow the car down with the front wheels. And then I just wait really long to get back to power. I think it's kind of really up for debate. Everyone does it differently, and the lap times are always about the same. It's the same thing in F1.
Gotcha. Well, it looked like a great run out there. Highly entertaining. Good to be back in the booth calling the action, and good to have you up here in victory lane again. How are you feeling going into this sprint race, starting 10th, and what's guaranteed to be a spectacular start?
Yeah. I kind of I love the inverted grids, so I'm excited. I just, you need to keep your nose clean for the first lap. I know there's gonna be a lot of spins and people in odd places with the way this car starts out. So we'll see. Just try and be smart, be aggressive, but be smart. And glad to be back and glad to have you back and be back in the booth.
Me as well, my friend. Great to be back. Hope you had a great off season. It's good to be back out on track, or at least broadcasting in my sense. But hope to see you do well in the sprint race. And for the first time of what could be many, who would I give a shout out to or say thanks to any family, friends, sponsors that's helping you out there in that number 22 machine?
We got both my parents, Session Guardians, Imperium, Turn 3 Motorsports, my race team, and yeah, huge shout out to all of them, and excited to get the real life season going soon.
Awesome. Josh, always a pleasure talking to you. Congratulations on the feature win, and hope to see you do well in this sprint race coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you.
And that was Josh Green, the number 22 machine, bringing it home in the top spot here for the feature event. We're going to run a very quick break, and then we will be back for what is guaranteed to be a wild sprint race to cap off tonight's activities. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, drivers are out on track, finishing up their warm-up. and getting ready for what's guaranteed to be a wild sprint race. We invert the top 10, so that means you're going to see Green and Crouch, who started first and second. They'll be starting 10th here today. And it looks like it's going to be Xavier Zanave starting in the top spot. So the running order is going to be Xavier Zanave, Felipe Garcia, Kevin Burrows, Dustin Oberlo, Danilo Sparopani, Gareth McAllister, Chase Small, Nick Peterson, John Kasai, and Brad Trenton. Look like they're the top 10. Now that seems slightly off, as it shows Trenton 10th, Crouch 11th, and Green 12th. So maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe there's a rule update where it's a top 12 inverted. That or I'm losing my mind. It's anybody's guess. As we wait for Garcia to make his way onto the grid, number 19 machine, here we go for the final time tonight. The sprint race is about to go down. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Already there's some contact. Chase Small involved in that one, able to hold on to it as you see him give a little bit of a hop. And we're going to pile the field here into turn 1. Man, what a great angle as they are still 3 wide trying to find their way through. Zanave holding on to the race lead. Dustin Orbelo moves up to second. Garcia back to third. Burrows fourth. McAllister still fighting for fifth. And here we go, as expected. Looked like that was Kevin Burrows involved in that one, able to get it pointed back in the right direction. So now McAllister moves up to fourth. They are bumping and grinding, and there we go, 3-4 wide. That's what we like to see. Small looks up the inside line of McAllister. McAllister drops back to fifth, but tries to answer back in that number 25 machine as he dives up the inside line. So now McAllister, he's got Small and Green side by side behind him. Two very quick competitors. Brad Trenton's also in the mix. My, oh my, things are exciting up front. Chase Small returns to pit road. His sprint race will be all but finished here. So now it's Zanave, Oberlo, Garcia, McAllister, Trenton, your top 5. And wait till we get to the hairpin. This is going to take one small mistake, and that's when the field's going to stack up once more. Zanave, Oberlo, and Garcia out front are kind of checking out here. As Trenton looking to go around the long way around. Oh, McAllister almost gets ran over by Green there. As Raymond Aguilar has entered the fray as well. Now he's behind Green. So now Trenton takes over fourth place. McAllister and Green side by side right behind him. Aguilar just a couple of cars back. He goes the inside line at McAllister. A 14-lap sprint race here today, half the distance of our feature event. Trenton about 1.3 back from a podium spot. And man, from like 4th to 8th place, there's just all sorts of wildness going on. You're watching Brad Trenton. He's leading Green, Aguilar, McAllister, Crouch. That's 4 through 8 that we were talking about. And now Dustin Oberlo is going to take over the race lead from Zanave. So now it's Oberlo, Zanave, Garcia, the top 3, with a hornet's nest of drivers behind him as Oberlo and Zanave go side by side once more. Into the hairpin, Zanave looks at the inside line, not able to make it stick. Oberlo carries, looks like a little bit more momentum on the outside line, but here comes Zanave looking to the inside once more. He's going to back out of it. Garcia looks for the inside line as well. As these three drivers have the know, right behind him is Green, Trenton, Aguilar, Crouch, McAllister. A lot of very fast and very talented guys that started towards the middle of the pack with that inverted grid. They're going to be charging up hard towards the start of the pack. Oberlo putting a little bit of distance on Zanave. He's up 3 spots while Zanave down 1. And as we check in with Zanave, he's got his hands full right behind him. Green and Garcia go side by side. Everybody getting through the hairpin relatively well. Still Oberlo, Zanave, Green, your top 3. Garcia, Trenton, Aguilar round out the top 5. Trenton gets swapped back to 6th as Aguilar picks up 5th and 4th. And one very quick motion. We've got a race going on, ladies and gentlemen. The field's still very well packed together here. And to be honest, did not see the lap 1 carnage that we were kind of expecting. So now we're watching Aguilar in that number 83 machine. He's up 10 spots from when he started, trying to track down Zanave and get back up in the podium after a very rough opening night in the feature event. And Aguilar does click off the fastest lap so far at a 127.03. Let's call it a 127 flat, but no, it's Green, clicks off a 126.11. Green running 9/10 faster than the rest of the field that last time by, and he's getting ready to make a move on Oberlo, looking to the inside line, going to the hairpin. Oh, that is a game of trust between 2 competitors there. So now Green takes over the race lead. Oberlo still second. Aguilar is up into podium contention, now running 3rd. Zanave and Crouch round out the top 5 here. Only 9 laps left to go for our competitors. And Green using every inch of the track limits and then a little bit more to get some speed that he needs to get away from the rest of the pack. He still has Oberlo about 7/10 behind him, but he does not want to get caught up in anybody's race at this point. Let's pan a little bit further back in the field. You've got a 3-car battle for 5th. Is Xavier Zanave being chased by Kevin Burrows and Brad Trenton. And man, this is a battle going on here. Burrows trying to get alongside Zanave while Trenton and Sparapani has joined the mix as well. And here comes Felipe Garcia as well as Gareth McAllister in this fray. A massive battle for what could be the 5th place spot. Sparapani, he has incidents in that number 9 machine. Let's take a quick look and see what may have happened. That was Sparapani and I think maybe Trenton. Ooh, a little bit of contact and around goes Sparapani. I think that may have been number 25 of McAllister involved in that one. Now, this is one of the misfortune when you got guys from across the world racing with different internet connections. Sometimes those gaps that look clear enough from our point of view is maybe a little bit tight from the iRacing server's point of view. And that can lead to some cars having a bit of bad luck as I try and spit it out. Green clicks off another fastest lap of the race, so 125.62. Still holding on to a very comfortable gap over Oberlo. About 3 seconds separating those two drivers. As we're still watching this massive battle for 5th. Everybody bobbing and weaving, a large portion of the field still nice and tight through here. And again, I'm astounded at how clean this sprint race is going, judging off the data we've had from the past. As Burrows and Zanave still going at it here. Now it is an 8/10 second difference between the two. Let's see if Trenton's going to be able to get up next to Zanave and make something happen. Try and squeeze into that 6th place spot. Graves, he's getting around Garcia for the 9th place spot. The number 37 machine up 11 spots from where he started. And let's pan up front as Aguilar and Oberlo go side by side for the battle for 2nd. Aguilar up 12 spots in that number 83 machine. Oberlo tries to hop different lines to get a little bit better run out of the hairpin, but Aguilar is going to hold on to it here, extending that gap quickly to about 4/10 over the number 42 of Oberlo. Trenton makes his way around Zanave, picking up the 6th place spot in that number 26 machine. Good to see him having a little bit of an improved luck from his opening round. Unfortunately, though, it looks like it's going to be about 5 drivers that were knocked out of this event, having to come in early. Now, some of them are still on track, but John Lynch, Rohit Rout, Anthony Asianati, Michael Fairchild, Chase Small, John Kasai, all involved in early incidents. As we head back to the mad dash for 9th, Felipe Garcia running 9th. He's chased by Connor Scribner, Flo Doms, and Gareth McAllister. All running very tight close up here. Green still out front, clicking off fastest laps on 125.59. I'm almost curious with enough time if we can see Green get down to the 124s. Graves has a bit of a bobble through the hairpin. That's going to allow Garcia to take over the 8th place spot. Graves now back into 9th. Scribner trying to make a way up as well as Doms. Too wide and too deep going to the hairpin. That usually doesn't end well, and that's exactly what we were expecting to happen. It looked like Garcia and Scribner were both involved in that one, and somebody's upside down. That's Connor Scribner. Finds himself pointed upside down somehow, some way. Let's take a look and see what happened to Scribner here. He gets into the back of somebody ever so slightly, and then catches the back left wheel, and over he goes. That's an odd crash. We'll have to review that one later again. Green still out front, making it happen. Holding about a 5-second advantage over Aguilar. Sparapani looks like he's going to return to pit road. His race is done, as well as Felipe Garcia. As now Terry Crouch, he's moved up back into podium contention. The number 59 machine edging out Orberlo. Orberlo now still running fourth where he started in the sprint race, so not having a bad night, all things considered. As there are some crazy fast drivers making their way out for the season opener. And we're going to go for a lap on board with Josh Green. Your race later just clicked off a 125.49, but we're going to be a little bit quiet up here in the booth and just listen to that engine sing out of that number 22 machine owned by Green. And that was what it looks like on board with the fastest lap of the race. Josh Green with a 125.2. Looks like the track's starting to really come in for these drivers as they just keep getting faster and faster compared to the speeds they were clicking off and the lap times they were clicking off in the feature event starting tonight. Green setting the world on fire. Let's check out the battle for 11th between Gareth McAllister and Varun Patel. Patel in the primarily white and baby blue stripe number 99 machine, McAllister in the black and white number 25. And not too far ahead of them as well as Hunter Graves in the 37 machine running 9. We see a little bit of smoke off in the foreground. Looks like Graves may have had a problem coming out of the hairpin. That'll slow down his run and allow Patel and McAllister to maybe make some ground up here. As Foster has problems in the hairpin as well. That hairpin just eating some drivers up. And that is Hunter Graves fending off Varun Patel in the 9th place spot. As somebody's off in the cheap seats. I believe that was Flo Doms. Yes, it was, number 13 machine. So now Graves, Patel, and McAllister will slide up to 8th, 9th, 7th, 8th, 9th. And let's check in on Dustin Oberlo. He's got his hands full with Kevin Burrows, the number 80 machine. Now Burrows is down 2 spots from where he started, and Burrows knows he can't back off the pace on this white flag lap. He's got Brad Tritton in tow as well, the number 26 machine. Tritton is up 4 spots early today. And now Oberlo and Burrows will go side by side. Looks like it's going to be Burrows going to the hairpin. Tritton trying to find a way through as well. Trying to squeeze around Oberlo. But Oberlo quick to hop back in the draft to hold on to that top 5 spot. Every point matters in the run of this championship. Ooh, Oberlo answering back to Burrows, tries to slide around the outside line. Burrows holds on to it. Tritton still looking for a way through as well. A 3-car battle for 4th to bring us home. As any second now, the checkered flag will fly. Yes, it will for Josh Green. So Josh Green will bring home the win here today at the season opener of Red Bull Ring for the sprint. Raymond Aguilar locks up 2nd. Terry Crouch brings home 3rd, but we can't take our eyes away as Kevin Burrows, Dustin Oberlo, Brad Tritton round out here in a spectacular finish. Josh Green burning it down in style. And the drivers celebrating in their own little iRacing way. As we get our top 3 drivers up here into victory lane. I'd like to take a moment and thank everybody that tuned in here tonight. What a fantastic race. Good to be back. As we see all of our drivers making their way up into victory lane. Up first, it's Terry Crouch joining us once more, number 59 machine. Able to avoid a lot of the carnage and crawl back up there to 3rd. Crouch, I mean, that's the first sprint race you've had the pleasure of running with the League Zero guys. How did it go from your point of view?
I got to look at the replay, but it was chaotic. It felt super stressful because it felt like I had cars on my left, on my right, in front, spinning. It was unique.
Yeah, generally you don't want to hear 4 wide when you're an open wheel machine, but drivers are going to stick their nose in because it's only 14 laps to try and make something happen. No pit strategy to, try and put different tires on or try and switch up any sort of strategy. And it's kind of every man for himself. I mean, did it go cleaner from what you were expecting? Was it a little bit rougher, or did you have any expectations coming into this sprint?
My only hope was to keep it clean. So from that side, it was successful. It was pretty aggressive, but I kind of expected that. So it's kind of tough to set up for corners when you're watching your mirror and, then you see guys like Josh running away. You got no hope. So it's just try and clear the cars you can, pick them off, and keep it clean.
Well, you did a great job out there, able to keep it clean, up 8 spots from where you started. And, I mean, you finished a sprint race here in the opening round, so that's an accomplishment all by itself. Terry, for the final time tonight, who would I to give a shout-out to that's cheering you and that number 59 machine on?
Well, my daughter, Aurora, I know she's watching it on stream, so hello, love you. Thanks for watching, and thanks to everybody else.
Well done, Terry. Congratulations again on another podium here today, and we'll see if that continued success helps you out next week.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you,
Let's
sir.
hope.
That was Terry Crouch bringing home the 3rd place spot. Now we've got Raymond Aguilar joining us, the number 83 machine. Raymond, it's been too long with the offseason and everything else. Great to have you back up here in victory lane, my friend.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Good start to the season.
Now, the feature race kind of tagged everybody with the bad luck. Gremlins able to come home in the sprint race with a very well-fought 2nd. I mean, normally that seems kind of backwards to what we've seen in seasons past. Normally the feature race a little bit calmer, a little bit smoother, but today it looked like all the carnage was reserved for the feature, and the drivers, I don't want to say cleaned it up, but figured it out for the sprint race. Is that what you saw from behind your visor?
I think everybody's been rusty, and they're just getting back into the groove of things. And they did, yeah, we did well in the feature. We ended up getting it going again.
Now, Raymond, what happened in your feature event? There's a lot to keep track of. We know you got tagged in an early incident. Was that lap 1 Carnage Fest that we saw the number 83 machine involved in?
Yeah, I got destroyed in the first lap. I think we found out a lot of people aren't used to braking on the inside of turn 2, and it ends up just turning into a big disaster.
Well, it seemed like the sprint race turned around, kept it clean, put the number 83 machine up in victory lane for the first time this season. Great to have you back up here, Raymond. And before I let you sign off and celebrate with the rest of the hooligans, who would I like to give a shout out to or say thanks to?
Oh man, to get me back in shape, I'm on the COVID list this week, so to get me back in shape, my trainers Daphne, Mitzi, and Zoe, man, we're getting it going.
Well, congratulations. Glad you're feeling a little bit better, and hope to see you do well in the feature events, and hope you get rid over the old cough, my friend.
Yeah, good to see you again. Thanks for doing this for us, man.
Glad to, Raymond. And that was Raymond Aguilar bringing it home in second on the podium for the first time this season. And now, no stranger to podiums, Josh Green once more able to cut through the field, gain 11 spots, and just kind of kept your nose clean in what could have been a carnage fest, but ended up being the cleanest race we had tonight.
Yeah, no, it was just about keeping your nose clean the first couple corners. You could sort of make some stupid dive bombs here and there just because we were all driving into the corner so slow because of the, the big domino effect with all the other cars ahead. But no, it was good overall. I mean, I just sort of picked them off one by one after getting through a clean start, and the big focus was to just keep people like Terry behind. And, that worked. So we ended up in a good spot.
Now, Josh, just 45 minutes, or I guess 20 minutes ago, we were talking about how loose and slippery the track was in these Formula 3 machines. Did the track seem to come in a little bit more for you guys? We saw you get down to a 125.2, which was right on pace with what you did late in the run in the feature. Is it the track feeling better? Is it knocking off the cobwebs, or kind of a cumulation of the three?
Actually, the 25.2 in this race I felt like was a really, really good lap. I think the track was actually a bit slower. I think generally overall you'd see lap times were a bit slower, and like consistently I was quite a bit far off of what I was doing the first race. So, but I think the track also rubbered in, and it definitely got easier to drive, and it made the tires come with the temp quicker. And I think that's why we saw less accidents.
Yeah, I mean, normally we see all the accidents reserved for the sprint races. Everybody's trying to send it in this half length distance. I mean, mad dash for cash almost. And today it really cleaned up. What do you think contributed to a rougher feature race versus a fairly clean sprint race overall?
I think it was just the first race of the season. Everyone's knocking the cobwebs off, and everyone's very eager to get going. We had a really big grid, huge grid for League Zero, and I hopefully we see it continue throughout the season. But going into the sprint, I just think everyone had practice already and sort of knew where the danger spots were and took it easy.
Well said, and great to have you back up here in Victory Lane, making it back-to-back here for the season opener. Hopefully we can see you up here running a full schedule when your real-life racing shenanigans allow, but always a great time talking to you, Josh, and you have the distinct privilege for the final time tonight. Give us a shout-out, friends, family, sponsors that's helping you out this season.
Same people. We got Zimperium, Session Guardian, both my parents, and yeah, just super proud of everything we've come to. And yeah, looking forward to getting the season started. I will do my best to be at as many of these as I can.
Awesome. Josh, great time talking to you. Always a pleasure, and hope to see you do well on and off the real-life or virtual racetrack.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And that was Josh Green making it back-to-back, bringing home both the sprint and the feature here today. Raymond Aguilar brings home second in the sprint, and Terry Crouch rounds out his back-to-back podium performance as a newcomer. On behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, as well as LeagueZero.net, my name's James East. Thank you all so much for tuning in, spending a Thursday night with us, and we will see you same time, same place next week. Have a great night, everyone.